very warm welcome to GBC Men's All Special event. This event is powered by Phytotech, who are our partners in delivering today's special discussion on one very important subject, yet very little said about, especially at the work environment, and that is work-related stress or workplace stress and its environment. To those of you who are watching us online at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, a very special welcome to you too. I hope you joining us won't be in vain and you'll have the best of time with us. Just a little observation. To be honest with all of us, stress is very much less talked about. And where you talk about that among men, you're considered to be weak. In some cases, they even ask you very snidely, don't be girly. But really, is being stressful or working in a very stressful environment being the subject to which you must be ridiculed? I hope not. And I guess you definitely agree with me. This afternoon, though, we're going to be having very special persons speak to us about work-related stress. We're not only talking about them, we're also looking for solutions. And with the solutions, we'll make the work environment a very, very healthy one for you. While you're with me, I encourage you, by all means, put your questions forward, and our specialist on hand would definitely help you make meaning of whatever your stress-related work environment question is. On that note, let me invite Mr. Akoto to kick us starting off with opening prayer. Mr. Akoto, please join me. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Akoto.
May we bow for a prayer. Father, this afternoon, we are grateful unto thee for the opportunity to come before you once again. You created man in your image and likeness to take care of the earth and the environment. This afternoon, we have realized, O Lord, in the course of our discharge of work, how stress affects us. We pray, commit all our deliberations into your hands. We commit our resource persons into your hands, O Lord. We ask for knowledge and wisdom so that at the end of it all, we will live here as men who have distress and able to do their work without stress. We thank you. We bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. He said amen. Thank you very much. May we also welcome very humbly onto the podium to bring us the welcome address, Mr. Perry Tete Kofi Norte. A round of applause for him, please. A welcome address.
You can hold this.
Yeah.
Yes. I think this one will be fine. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Distinguished guest of honor, our Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, members of management, distinguished representatives of our noble security institutions in Ghana, it is a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this important program organized by GBC Men on our subject of workplace-related stress and its effects. Your presence here today is significant and we really appreciate it. We are particularly grateful to all of you, and I also welcome Dr. Hafsa Abbas of GBC Clinic, who decided to join us upon a short notice. We are grateful. DG, we warmly welcome you and management, and we say your presence demonstrates that the well-being of the people is not merely an individual concern, but an institutional responsibility. To begin with, I would say a man can be strong enough to carry the weight of the world, but even the strongest man or the strongest shoulders would need rest at some point in time. It is with great pleasure that we welcome you to this important GBC Men program on workplace stress and its effects. Today, We are gathered here to discuss an issue that affects many of us, but which we do not always talk about openly at our workplaces. Every day, we come to work expected to perform, deliver, meet deadlines, solve problems, and respond to the demands of our profession. At GBC, the pressure can be sometimes particularly intense. Broadcasting does not wait. News does not wait. Deadlines do not wait. The public expects excellence, and rightly so. But behind every camera, microphone, newsroom, studio editing suite, and office is a human being. And sometimes that human being is tired. Sometimes he's worried. Sometimes he's frustrated. Sometimes he's carrying challenges from home into the workplace and workplace pressures back home. Yet, because we are men, we often are expected to simply say, I am fine. But really, are we fine? That is the conversation we must be prepared to have. In our holy book at Matthew 11:28, it says, and I quote, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This is a powerful reminder that even when our responsibilities become heavy, we should recognize our limitations and seek rest and support. Now, a message from the Quran similarly offers a message of hope and resilience. In Surah Ash-Shara 94, verse 5 to 6, we are reminded, and it says, and I quote, "Fa inna mal uzri yusra, inna mal uzri yusra," meaning, for indeed, with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. What a powerful message for anyone going through difficult circumstances. It reminds us that periods of pressure and difficulty do not demand the whole of our lives. There can be relief, recovery, and renewal. Whether we draw strength from the Bible or the Quran or simply from our shared experience, the message is clear. We should not suffer silently when support is available. Now, distinguished colleagues, it is also important that we understand this issue is not only from a moral or spiritual perspective, but also from a legal and professional standpoint. The Ghana Labour Act 2003, Act 651, does not explicitly use the term workplace stress, but it provides a strong legal foundation for addressing it indirectly. Under sections 118 of Act 651, employers are required to provide and maintain a safe, healthy, and risk-free working environment. They are also to ensure that employees are not exposed to conditions that may harm their physical or mental health. This is very important because modern occupational health practice recognizes workplace stress as a psychosocial hazard that can seriously affect mental well-being. The Act further also requires employees to prevent occupational injury and illnesses, protect workers' health and well-being, ensure that work processes do not endanger employees. These provisions are critical because excessive workload and lack of rest are major contributors to workplace stress and burnout. In addition, it further promotes fair labor practices. In modern interpretation, severe psychosocial stress can, in extreme cases, be considered a health risk. The law expects us to work in an environment that does not harm our bodies or our minds. Brothers, we must talk about stress. Workplace stress is not simply about being busy. When pressure becomes excessive and prolonged, it can affect our concentration, decision-making, relationships, productivity, and overall well-being. And sometimes the stress does not end when we leave the office. A man may finish work physically, present in his home, but mentally still sitting behind his desk thinking about deadlines, conflicts, finances, unfinished assignments, and tomorrow's challenges. And sometimes the people who suffer the consequences are the very people we work so hard to provide for. That's our families. We must therefore change the way we think about strength. Strength is recognizing when something is wrong and having the courage to address it. Strength is asking for help when necessary. Strength is knowing when to rest. Strength is being able to say, I need to talk to someone. And strength is also looking at another brother and asking, my brother, how are you really doing? As GBC men, we have opportunity to create a culture and brotherhood where nobody feels alone in facing workplace pressures. Let us build a workplace where we do not only ask, have you completed the assignment? Are you okay? Let us build a culture where excellence is encouraged, but well-being is not sacrificed. Because an organization cannot achieve sustainable excellence through exhausted people. We need healthy minds, healthy relationships, and healthy workplaces. And we need men who are emotionally strong enough to live both at work and at home. Distinguished guests, today's program is therefore more than discussion about stress. It's a conversation about this kind of men we want to become, the kind of workplace we want to build, and the kind of lives we want to live. Let us listen. Let us learn. Let us speak openly. And let us live here determined to take better care of ourselves and one another. Because at the end of our careers, our greatest achievement should not only be what we produce, but also what we remained healthy, supported one another, and live a meaningful life. So on behalf of GBC Men, I warmly welcome you all to this very important program. I encourage every one of us to participate actively, listen carefully, and speak honestly. May our discussions today be honest, practical, and transformative. And as we go through the challenges of work and life, may we remember the assuring words as quoted in the Quran, فَإِنَا مَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, إِنَا مَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, and what we also quoted, come to me, all ye who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. May these messages remind us that we do not have to carry our burdens alone. And may we also remember that under the Labor Act 651, we are entitled to a workplace that protects not only our physical safety, but also our mental well-being. Thank you for coming. You are warmly welcome, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Norte. Thank you so very much, Mr. Perry Norte. We're so grateful. About time we introduce the chairman or chairperson for this event. But before I do that, let's make welcome to some special persons among us. We're all special, by the way. We have in the house the father of the house, we all refer to him, the Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Al-Hassan. Please let's make welcome Professor Al-Hassan. To his immediate right is my head of human resource, Director of HR. Please, you're welcome, Mr. John Korasari. Thank you very much. There are also men in the house. And so, in no particular order, please let's make welcome the presence of the Ghana Armed Forces or the Ghana Army. Please give us a wave. Thank you very much. We also have in the house the Ghana Immigration Service. I see also the prison service in the house. I'm not sure if I missed the Ghana Air Force. Did I? Oh, thank you very much. Let's welcome them too. Thank you so very much. And you're all very welcome. Is it prison service I missed? Oh, customs. Thank you so very much. Ghana Customs, please. Let's welcome Ghanaian Customs Service here. Until I read the book Men also cry, I thought it was girly to cry. And until I read that book, I thought it was weak for a man to say, I am tired. And by the time I'd finished reading that book, I'd taken, including my accumulated leave, to square it up. And so if you're here and you haven't taken your leave yet, I'm sure HR will speak to you about it. Thank you very much. And on that note, please let's welcome the chairman of the event. He is a social development advisor to the British High Commission, or at the British High Commission. Let's welcome Mr. Leonard Goba. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Goba.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Director General, I stand on all the existing protocols. So on behalf of the British High Commissioner, who I represent today, I accept to chair this function and to steer this important discussion on men's health and well-being. Today is a timely reminder that while many men spend their lives caring for others, as fathers, husbands, partners, colleagues, and leaders, we must also make time to care for ourselves. Across Ghana and beyond, many men carry heavy responsibilities as fathers and those that I've already mentioned. They are expected to be strong and dependable, and they often neglect their own well-being, leading to ill health, long-term impairment, and even death. In Ghana, non-communicable diseases such as heart diseases, stroke, hypertension, and diabetes account for around 45% of all deaths. And cardiovascular or heart diseases alone is linked to over 59,000 deaths annually. Yet, many men still delay seeking care. And parts, we ignore warning signs and struggle silently with stress, anxiety, and other health challenges. Part of the challenge lies in the messages many of us grew up with and steeped in our proverbs and culture. I think our brother MC has already said it. We often hear phrases like "Obarima Nsu," "a man doesn't cry." While this is intended to encourage strength, it can also discourage men from expressing emotions, seeking help, or admitting when things are not going well. But real strength is not suffering in silence. Real strength is recognizing when you need support. It is going for that health checkup when you feel a thing on your chest. It is talking to someone when life becomes overwhelming. It is taking steps to protect your physical and mental well-being. We must also recognize that the importance of balance. A successful life is not all about work, promotions, financial success, etc. It's about maintaining healthy relationships, spending time with family and friends, creating opportunities for rest and relaxation, and I take your point about taking our annual leaves and looking after our physical and mental health. A balanced life is not a luxury. It is essential for sustained health and productivity. If we want to remain as men and continue caring for others, leading effectively and contributing to our communities, we must first ensure that we ourselves are healthy and well. My hope is that today's discussion encourages all of us to speak up, seek support when needed, prioritize our well-being, and check in on men around us. We are suffering in silence. Because when men are healthy, families are stronger, workplaces are more productive, and communities are more resilient. On this note, I accept to take the chair and steer the program. Thank you.
He's accepted to be the chair and steer the program. We're shortly going to welcome a speech by the Director General of GBC, but before that, let's acknowledge our partners who has made it possible for us to bring men from diverse backgrounds to this gathering to face one of the very much less talked about issues work-related, which is stress. Phytotech has been our partners, and they have once again sponsored this event. Phytotech is here. Dr. Lucia is here. Right. Thank you very much. Please yes, join the men for us. Thank you so very much. They have very good products for men, especially men above 40. If you're above 40, there is nothing weak about ensuring your prostate care is very much looked after. If you have not tested and you're above 40, I very strongly encourage you. In fact, until my Director General mentioned how important it is to do so, I took it for granted. DG, thank you so very much. I took that advice. It has helped a great deal. And so they have very brilliant products for men. They have a stand outside. Once we're done from here, don't be in a hurry to go speak to our men from Phytotech and get to understand some of the products they have. They're very good for you. Prostate 60 is for prostate health. You don't have to be diagnosed with prostate enlargement or anything to go for that. You're fine to go on that. It helps. And they also have Nitro Mix for circulation of blood and also vitality, male vitality. Thank you very much. On that note, let's welcome the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, to bring us a speech.
Yeah, thank you very much. I, on behalf of management, want to express our appreciation to GBC Men for reminding us the need to have moments like this to educate ourselves. And I also want to appreciate the distinguished ladies and gentlemen assembled here, well represented from the security services as well as from other agencies. The topic is, of course, very familiar to all of us, but I just want to use the opportunity to relate how I came to the realization. I think 2 years into the job as Director General, one day I closed from work and came downstairs. And normally I drive home. I don't allow my driver to drive and go home. He drives me when I'm in office, but when I close, I drive home and I drive in again, then he takes over. But that very day I went and looked at the car, I couldn't drive. I called him, come. He said, take me home. So he drove me home, and the following morning, he called early morning to say that he was on his way to come and take me. I said, no, I think I'm fine. I didn't appreciate how serious it was. That for the first time in my life, I realized later that I had worked for 2 years, continuous without a break. As Director General, when I took the job, I didn't have an agreement with my board that I could take a break because there was crisis upon crisis upon crisis. And after 2 years, I got to this point. Then the following day when I came to work, I closed from work and I booked an evening flight to Tamale to vanish from the work. And I told my deputy, please, it's your problem. Handle GBC, I'm out of here. I need to survive to come back. And after very good 1 week without work, I recovered very well. Then I realized I was dealing with stress. Stress comes to you in ways that you wouldn't realize it until it actually hits you very hard. I was lucky. It hit me at a point where I had a presence of mind to change. Sometimes it hits when you don't be available to think about yourself again. It can affect everybody. And I think that it's important that the work will always be there. 2 weeks ago, I was in Tamale, and one of our former staff, Abdulhai Momin, launched his book. I was there, and I picked a copy of the book, and I was reading. And the title was Newsroom Poverty. And a large chunk of the book was talking about GBC Newsroom, the stress they go through. But I want to bet, if I ask, is there anybody from the newsroom here? I will not even find, sorry. Oh, still poor representation. Oh, okay, so still poor representation. I'm a product of the newsroom. I know that in GBC it is the most stressful space you can work. And when we talk about these moments, I think that it will be nice to have a very good representation. The work will always be there, but you might not be there. So if you fall in a newsroom today, the news will be delivered, but you will not be there to deliver the news. So I always say that no matter the circumstance, you can arrange for some of you to be here in your numbers so that the work will continue. But frankly speaking, I am happy that we have this opportunity to speak about stress management at the workplace. Whether you are working with the security services or the civil and public services, one thing that is very certain about our minds is that we are trained to offer public service. And we are consumed by the spirit of offering our best. But we often forget to remember that we have to be there to offer the service. So I hope today's forum will grant us the opportunity to learn, to listen to the experts, and at least adjust the way we work. The work will always be there. Learn to take the break. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for the Director General for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan. We're shortly going to listen to a recitation of a poem, and that would then transition us into the day's very first lecture. The theme or topic for this gathering is workplace stress and its effect. And so it is in order to have such an interlude. On that note, let's welcome Fapimpong Achampong to bring us the poetry recitation. A round of applause for Fapimpong. Yes, I see someone looking out. I'm sure they're signaling. And Mighty Foundation has walked into the house. Please make welcome Fapimpong Achampong. It's all yours.
Ago! We bow our ways before the guardians of our collective existence, the sentinels of sovereignty, the custodians of bodies, the defenders of streets, the rescuers of the endangered, the protectors of life. Ago. 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 The greatest lesson of protection is already living inside us. For the body itself is a nation. The skin guards its bodies. The immune system confronts invaders. The nervous system detects danger. The heart keeps everything moving. The lungs exchange life and waste. The kidneys filter. The liver protects. The blood repairs the wound. Nothing survives alone. And the universe works by the same ancient wisdom. The planets keep their paths. Gravity holds what might drift apart. The sun gives energy. The earth sustains life. Nature destroys, renews, and restores. Everything protects something. Everything depends on something. So the Ghana Armed Forces guard our national boundaries as the skin guards the body. The police service maintains order as the nervous system responds to danger. Immigration guards our gateways. Prisons contain danger while preserving restoration. Fire service runs towards the flames while others run away. NADMO helps life rise after disaster. Narcotics control confronts silent destruction. The Small Arms Commission works to protect weapons from becoming tragedies. The National Peace Council turns conflict towards dialogue. Different organs, different duties, one body. Different institutions, different uniforms, one nation. And perhaps that is the first truth. Protection is never the work of one part alone, because behind every institution is a human being. Behind every uniform is a body that can become tired. Behind every title is a heartbeat. Behind every duty is a person who also needs somewhere to put the weight. Look behind the television screen. The presenter speaks. The cameras roll. The lights shine. But someone carries the camera. Someone catches the sound. Someone holds the light. Someone solves the problem before the audience or the viewers know there was a problem. When the screen goes dark, who switches on the light for them? The nurse holds another hand. Who holds hers? The emergency worker walks into another emergency. Who notices the emergency follows him home? The father leaves before sunrise and returns after dark. Daddy, are you tired? No, he smiles. The mother calculates school fees, food, rent, and tomorrow's transport. The driver finishes 12 hours, but his mind is still on the road. The teacher carries other people's children's futures while worrying about his or her own. The breadwinner receives a salary today and 10 responsibilities before the end of the same day. The phone rings, another request, another bill, another problem, and the person everyone calls is often the person who has nowhere to call. This is how stress grows, not always through one catastrophe, but through ordinary days that never give the mind a place to breathe. How many men were taught, I am fine, when the rent is due, the child is sick, the job is uncertain, the marriage is strained, and the heart is exhausted. Many men were told to provide, to protect, to endure, but never to speak, never to seek protection or to recognize when endurance has become damaged. So we ask, when did being strong become being silent? When did responsibility become carrying everything alone? The protector, like every human being, can be tired, hurt, struggle, and need protection too. So sleep before the body demands it. Eat before hunger becomes exhaustion. Rest before collapsing. Share the load before resentment. Say no before anger says it for you. Speak before silence becomes isolation. Ask for help before help becomes rescue. Because you can lie in bed and still be fighting battles inside your head. You can leave work and still carry the workplace through the front door. You can smile and still be struggling. A leaking pot does not need more water. It needs the crack repaired. So find the crack. Prevent the fire before the firefighter is needed. Protect the skin before the wound. Notice the burden before the breakdown. Prevent the conflict before the battlefield. Recognize stress early before it becomes collapse. Even the eagle must fold its wings. Sometimes, even the protector needs protection. So let the giver receive. Let the healer be healed. Let the rescuer be rescued. Let the strong one have someone to be a human and somewhere to be known as a human. Because protection must never become a load or one-way road. The body protects its organs. The earth protects its life. The universe holds its order. So a society is truly secure, not merely when its protectors protect everyone else, but when the protectors themselves are protected. So, who protects the protector? We do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A very quick takeaway for me from all that he read is to acknowledge that even the shrink needs a shrink. And if you hear me say amen, it comes with the job. Thank you very much. And so we've come to that point where we're going to take our very first lecture. And the one to bring us this lecture has a very rich background. I actually envied when I read through his bio. He is a counseling psychologist, a human behavior analyst, and a psychotherapist. Certified mediator, ADR leadership, and employee assistance program expert. He is a lecturer and the head or lead consultant and founder, CEO at the Center for Peace and Reconciliation. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me make welcome Dr. Emmanuel Kojo Hobson, PhD. Thank you very much. You may use both. Any which one you're okay with.
Okay, that's fine.
Shall we give it up to ourselves one more time? I very much standing on already existing protocol to say I'm privileged to be here to once again have this conversation that is uniquely tailored towards men. Shall we give it up to ourselves one more time? And I was so excited when I see the papa of the house, he himself sitting. That should tell exactly the kind of heart and appreciation for programs like this. This already is a sign of building a healthy environment at the workplace. Shall we give it up to him? Yeah, for him. Yeah. Shall we quickly be upstanding? Let's stretch our hands up very quickly. Yes, just stretch your arms up. Just stretch it, 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 stretch it. Very well. Okay. All right. So, whilst you do your arms are up, let's take a deep breath in. And then let's bring it out. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it out. Now we are going to do a double breathing before we come out. So let's go. 1. Again, the second one. And then bring it out. Continue shaking your hands. And then bring it in again. And then the double one. And then bring it out. Then bring your arms down. You feel a little bit dazed, right? Let's take our seats. Workplace stress, finance conflict, and stress management. It's such a wonderful topic that we can even speak about it for a whole year. After listening to Mr. Nate, the chairperson, the MD, I was just sitting down and telling myself, let us just have Q&A and then we are done. Because all their delivery was so rich, profound, and just to the point. But I'm just going to add some snipers to what have already been said. Work life determines the greater part of our existence and explains events in our lives. Unfortunately, lack of understanding of the multidimensional confrontations of work and our life cycle, how to respond to its various seasons, phases, and crises, leaves us sometimes very confused, disappointed, and then depressed. Life beyond work also brings profound challenges. Family life, the cycle of personal, psycho-emotional, physiological, biological, socioeconomic, and personal financial challenges. Loss of our heroic and heroine self, stress, intrapersonal conflicts, and the interpersonal conflicts. We go through bereavement, we have health issues, we have caring for others, and some of the difficulties associated with our own aging process. No matter how small or large a company, institution, government, or nation is, the individuals, the human capital, psycho-emotional, stress, intra- and interpersonal conflict, which comprise 85% of the human capital input, is the common denominator for poor work and lack of productivity among people and employees. And I'm concluding by saying, even if they have the skill that they need to complete their task. I think this statement, with other ones that we have heard, summarize why we are here this afternoon. And I want us to just go quickly to a practical analysis and assessment of our work-life cycle to begin with. Our work what? Life cycle. Let's repeat that. Our work-life cycle. Our work-life cycle, the good book said, teach us how to number our days so that we can apply our hearts to what? Knowledge. There is something about knowledge about your life cycle that when you have it, you will learn to live your life. And some of these things you don't even need to be told. You would have already made up your mind because you have already had the knowledge that is needed. This is also to say that lack of knowledge leads to distraction. Even the good book said that, for my people are what? Perish for lack of what? Knowledge. This goes to say that everything in life that you lack knowledge in, you will certainly get lost in it. There is one thing that is very fascinating at the lecture room anytime I meet my students. Most of my students are already practicing lawyers, judges, magistrates, and who have come for their master's programs. Now, I see them get so tired, but they just push themselves in order to do what? Come and acquire knowledge. My first term paper that I asked my students to write for me is what? Who am I? It's a very beautiful short term paper that students must write. Who am I? Most of the time, we spend money to acquire knowledge. Except the knowledge that is basic to us, which is knowing who you are, is what we don't even spend much on. Sometimes we don't even care. A good friend of mine, Mas Moro, said that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but the greatest tragedy is coming to this world, not even knowing who you are until you passed on. We are here this afternoon to gain a basic knowledge about how to treat ourselves well. When we get born between 18 and 28, we are aspiring for our vision and mission in life. When we get to between 28 and 37, we have gotten direction of our life of how to sustain ourselves, find a job, get married, begin to build our family. When we get between 47 and getting to 50, then we are becoming to face the midlife crisis of our lives. And this moment surprises a lot of people because that is the time that many things that you don't even learn about, you don't even know about, begin to surface. That is the time that you are beginning to look at yourself. When you were able to carry 2 buckets of water, and you feel so strong and powerful. But come to that time, you are beginning to ask yourself, why am I so tired waking up more than when I was going to bed in the first place? These days, when I want to wake up, I throw my leg out and he said, no, you can't throw me that way. You need to be patient with me. You want to carry your waist out? He said, no way. Negotiate with me. You start the morning by learning how to walk a little bit, and it getting close to the afternoon, then you can walk very straight. And then you are asking yourself, what is happening? Nobody taught you. Nobody tells you. Even when they tell you, you will not even believe it. But we get to such times that we are asking ourselves, what is going on with me? And for men, it is very strange. That is when we are having different kind of hormonal exchanges that have triggered a lot of self-search sentiments. You see, men between that age gap begin to go so quiet, go so withdrawn, go so silent. They don't want to be so aggressive as they used to be because, you know what? You don't want to know. You are traveling, and the first thing that comes to your mind is that, are you going to come back? You are sitting by the table to eat, and your wife is sitting by your side, and you are just looking at the food, and he goes like, honey, how is it going? Aren't you going to eat? The answer is, you don't want to know. What is going through that man's mind at that time in the age bracket is that it is about time you start thinking about your will. How have you lived your life so far? Is there any succession plan? What are you going to leave behind? It is natural. It comes at such age. How many people have getting close to that age? They will not tell you. They will not tell you, but that is what they go through. It is natural because some of the hormonal balances are beginning to dwindle. And then the aging hormones are beginning to trigger the sense of insecurity. That is a time that the firstborns are looking at the younger ones and say, hey, you are going out and daddy is quiet. No, daddy can't talk. He's thinking about himself. And you get to that close age where you are beginning to feel so weak and beginning to think about even your sexual performance. There are a lot of things beginning to go wrong that you are just asking yourself, where am I going from here? You know, from that 28 to 30, 37, 47, that age bracket, the cycle, things are going on even within your family, but nobody cares to tell you because one year. So 18, somebody passed away, nobody cares to tell you. 30, nobody cares to tell you. Then when you are getting to the 40s, they tell you, but they don't expect that much from you. Then at a certain stage, they ask you to also do some contribution. Then at a point, they don't even need your contribution. They want you to come in person. Then you get to at a point, then it is like, even if you don't have anything, we need you home. And that is when you are getting closer. And then you are getting to meet people and want to discuss how the estate of people that have passed on are to be managed, how to resolve their family intrapersonal conflicts, how to manage the family to hold them in cohesion, how to reconcile people that are going in their different directions. And that is when you are beginning to get so much involved. Pretty soon, whilst you are sitting to discuss how others will be brought from the mortuary, and you are arranging how they will be buried, pretty soon, others will also be seated, and they will be managing and arranging when you will also be brought. At such closer ages, between 50 getting to 60, you can imagine how old your parents will be then. So these are the times that we are visiting our colleagues, their father's funeral, their mother's funerals, and all that. And that is the age bracket with which we also visit our friends. Their daughters are getting married, and we go to christening and all that. And in between, we are visiting some other colleagues at the hospital. You go to visit a colleague and he's on oxygen. And they said, oh, this is what the diagnosis is. They mention some kind of name of a sickness, a disease. And you go by, you say, hey, Johnny Pa. Hey, Chase. Hey, Tony. You know what? Life is strange, oh. Then you are in your car coming home. Then one side your stomach starts shaking. Then you ask, what? Quickly, now we are in a social media world. Quickly, you get on your Google. What about when you are driving and one side of your stomach is shaking? Then a whole lot of data has come and said, it might be this, it might be that, it might be that, it might be that. See your physician immediately. This is a life cycle which contribute to the various areas of our life challenges. We don't will it, we don't wish it. Same way you can't wish it away, neither can you will it away. Fortunately or unfortunately, the way we carry ourselves is as if there is no tomorrow. When you see people behave at the workplace, how they treat others, how they talk to others, how they use their authority, how they use their power, how they use their position. You want to look at them and ask, wow. Fortunately or unfortunately, between 18 to 28, by the time you are getting to 50 to 58, getting to 60, the workplace is getting ready to say bye-bye to you. Can you imagine if you should be 28 and get to work? By the time you are getting to 60, how much strength do you have again that you are going home with? So if we talk about stress, we talk about life, the cycle brackets within which we need to be very familiar, very conversant, knowledgeable, engage, process, reflect on our life is at the same space within the work frame. That is why when you don't take your work environment serious and try to make it another home and it becomes toxic, then you are going to live your life for a long period of chunk of your time in toxicity. And when you are packing your baggage, going home, you don't have anything else left. This topic is such an important topic. I have the privilege to work with one of my professors in the US called Professor Dandana. He actually developed some programs for the US government to boost the workplace performance. And this has helped to boost some of their workplace performance from 80% to 220% at the time of Bill Clinton. So when I came over back to Ghana, I developed that same program and I introduced it to various institutions and organizations. And it is a full package of both theory, clinic, and therapy combined to help the workplaces boost their performance, whilst the human capital be able to carry themselves through the process. But guess what? When I came, I got so frustrated. Why? Because people cannot appreciate what you are talking about. So you have to break through certain barriers, boundaries, as if you are fighting people to understand why it is important, why it is necessary. Thankfully, many are catching up with it now. And that is why I am so proud of GBC Men Association for putting together this program. Because I see it as a catalyst that will revamp, if not reintroduce, and kickstart a conversation and a discourse that will be more tailored to our psycho-emotional and integral well-being that to expand not only in the workplace, but to our families. Our intrapersonal well-being, which is psycho-emotional extent to which we appreciate ourselves, starts with a definition of our mental health. Gone are those days when mental health is being considered as absence of mental sickness. But today, it is no more. Gone are those days when they say you are mentally healthy, it means you don't have disease in your brain. But WHO has advanced beyond that with a lot of research from professionals and come to a point where we are now looking at, to be mentally healthy, it must be absence of mental disease, 1. 2, ability to cope with life. 3, ability to manage the hassles and bustles of life. 4, ability to be able to maintain balance amidst the challenges that you find yourself in. Then 5th, contribute to your own well-being, well-being of others, and well-being of environment. If indeed this is what defines mental health, and unfortunately, more than 60,000 thoughts go through your mind every day as an adult, and you have 3 adult children, like our papa of the house have all these people that he's managing. They are 60,000 thoughts each, plus your own 60,000 thoughts. You are managing them all. The question is, if we want to be realistic, there is just a thin line between sane and insane. If we come to this realization, then we appreciate the fact that there is no less contribution we can make to ourselves than give ourselves the greatest gift of appreciating our stress and mental health. This is to say that stress is the body's clock and alert. That is why we call it is automatic and autonomic response of the body to outside pressure. So when we understand and appreciate these things, it will help us to know that programs like this, discussions like this, conversations like this, must even go beyond just a workplace, but goes even to our family. I want to conclude by saying that there is one quote that I always want to leave with people. Remember to quote it. It's from Dr. Hobson. If you treat your workplace the way you treat your family back at home, the very day you are being given your employment letter, that will be the same day they will give you the exit letter. Why? Because in the workplace, there is something we come to sign called register, records. You can't go without asking permission. You can't just take others for granted. There's something called policy. There's something called performance agreement. There's something called what? Interviews that helps you to put you in line. But at home, it is very less of importance. That is why sometimes we can even win at the workplace, but fail so badly at home. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Dr. Hobson, please. Dr. Hobson so quietly reminded me of the last time I went on ChatGPT to find out why my left eye blinks even when I'm not even sternly looking. And it won't stop. And I say, what is happening to my head? You want to know what the feedback was? Really? Maybe if yours does the same, you won't even check. Go and check on yours. Thank you very much. On that note, we're transitioning into our second lecture of the day, and we're doing so well to have this wrapped up in 7 minutes for us. And so please don't time me yet. Slow down, slow down. You go stress. Oh. Anyway, so the next speaker for this afternoon's gathering has a health or is a health advocate, a social entrepreneur, a mental health professional with over 13 years of experience as a registered general nurse and an MSc in clinical psychology and mental health from Swansea in the UK, and a chartered graduate member of the British Psychological Society. He has worked extensively in emergency care, clinical psychology, and mental health advocacy, including engagement with the Ghana Armed Forces. Oh, remember Manu. That's good. That's good for us then. Also with the Ghana Air Force, Zenith Bank, and Aglo Ghana. To make it brief, let's please make welcome Mr. Chairman. First of all, are you okay with us, the pace at which we are going? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let's make welcome Mr. Eugene Tonyeva. Please, I hope I got your last name right. If I got it wrong, forgive me. I'll learn to get it right next time. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Standing on all existing protocols, I'm also very delighted to be here this afternoon to touch on or add some bits to the stress discussion we're having. A lot has been said by the wonderful speakers that have come before me, and listening to Dr. Hobson speak just now, I'm wondering what I have to say again. You know, my point or my take is to touch on the stress we experience in our homes and how that connects us men to the well-being we are looking out for at work. We all know very well that at the end of the day, we have to go home, right? And going home means that whatever happens at home will feature strongly in our life as we even come back to work the next day. So there is that significant influence from whatever situation we have at home, whether it's a positive one or a negative one, whatever situation is at home is going to influence the productivity we are expecting of ourselves at the workplace. A lot of the time, I'm glad Dr. Hobson touched on mental health specifically. A lot of us have feelings, don't we? A lot of us think. We think about things all the time, right? And we act. These three strong pillars actually influence how the mental health stance is. Whatever we think about, whatever we feel, and whatever actions come out of all of this are the basic influencing elements of mental health. So if your thought processes are positive, it means your mental health is going to be positive. If your feelings are recognized and managed properly, your mental health will remain in a positive angle of the spectrum. Almost all the time, when we talk about mental health, we're looking at a line. On one side of the line is a positive state of mental health. On another side is a negative state of mental health, where we are moving into mental illness. Now, for everybody, as we exist, as we live our lives, there are challenges that come in our lives. all of these challenges are somehow affecting our daily activities, our thought processes, our feelings. For whatever reason, if what is going on in your life is not as positive as you want it to be, you are going to be drifting on that line towards negative states of mental health. And until something is done about it, you are going to be moving and you may end up in crisis. So for everybody sitting here, mental illness is not so far away from us. I want us to remember that when we go home today. Mental illness is not so far away from all of us sitting here. Stress, which is the main topic we are talking about today, is a very significant precipitating factor to developing severe mental illness. A lot of us don't even know our family histories of mental health. Whether it has happened to a grandfather before, we don't know. Whether an auntie has experienced some even postpartum depression, we don't know. And once it has happened in your family before, it means there is a high chance that you could experience some form of mental illness or negative state of mental health. So the significant levels of stress we encounter and we feel can be the tipping point for us ending up in that state of negative mental health. If we're talking about stress, stress can actually be positive and it can also be negative. We need some level of stress for us to perform at an optimum state. And in that beginning phase, when we move on, we are experiencing a huge stress where the stress is positive, is significant for us to achieve at the optimum. But once it gets to a peak where it plateaus, everything that we experience from that end becomes negative. That is when we start feeling all the negative physiological experiences. We start having the headaches, we are tired, we still cannot sleep, we can't eat, or we start eating too much. So many of these things will happen as we live. It's important to have this conversation today, and I'm very glad that GBC Men have put together a room filled with men who are interested in challenging the status quo. We are interested in talking about stress and looking within to see that what can we do about ourselves so that we are strong and we are able to remain the positive providers, the positive protectors and decision makers at our homes and also at the workplace, so we are bringing strong productivity to bear. There is often a trap with us men where we feel being strong or being stronger means that we suffer in silence. I don't think strength is equivalent to silence. Sometimes we also believe that having self-control is synonymous to emotional suppression. This is not true. We as men are also expected to express our emotions. Regardless of how difficult it is, we should find avenues to express it. Sometimes being a provider doesn't really mean that we have to solve all the problems or solve them alone. We can seek help. We can get help for it. And often also, leading doesn't mean we have to dominate. We can still make room for other people to play a part. It's important that as we're trying to protect our families, do our best for our families, we are looking at ourselves also and thinking, how can we help ourselves? How can we do this? A lot of men go through the stress cycle where we have pressure on us and we believe strongly that I can handle the situation. In that phase, we end up suppressing all the emotions we feel because we believe strongly we want to handle this situation. And we go in. It might lead to us disconnecting. We end up disconnecting from our families, our significant relationships, and what they need from us, eventually they don't get it. That emotional availability, they don't get it. And what does that lead to? It brings conflict because criticisms will come. We become defensive in it because we believe we are doing everything possible to handle the problem that exists. But at the end of the day, because of that disconnection, conflicts will come. Once those conflicts come, it leads to many cost elements that affect our health. The goal here is that we want to notice whatever is happening early so that we can communicate effectively about it, recover quickly, and if possible, we seek help with that recovery process. So many things we feel ourselves. There are significant physiological changes that happen when we have stress happening in our lives. We can take it systemic. If you look at our heads, sometimes we start feeling headaches, severe headaches. We struggle to sleep. Sometimes the headache is one-sided. A lot of people become sad, significantly sad, increased levels of depression. A lot of those things happen. If we come to the chest region, sometimes we experience heartburns. Our blood pressures go up. We look at our blood, our immune systems even become weaker when we experience severe or increased levels of stress. Our blood sugars go up. So many of these things, and we stand at a higher risk of what? Heart attacks, heart diseases. It's been said earlier. Most of this is sometimes we have abdominal pains that we think it's an infection. Sometimes this could just be levels of stress we have endured for so long that are exhibiting themselves in these ways. We can talk about how it affects men's sexual life. We can talk about how it affects even women with their cycles. Most of these things are there. We experience them that often we just don't link them to the level of stresses we are experiencing. They are there. They are truly affecting us in ways that we struggle to define. There are these four things I call the four horsemen that we have to watch in ourselves. The first one is criticism. And I'm talking about family life, marriage, right? So often attacking our partner's character rather than addressing specific problems that have been presented to us. If this happens a lot in our lives, it's going to affect the home and at the end of the day, affect the work we do. Sometimes we react to situations that are presented to us with contempt. We become so sarcastic. We become dismissive. We feel we are the head of the home. So whatever is presented to us, we don't really accept it the way we should accept. That can also be a recipe for disaster. I talked about defensiveness already. Sometimes we stonewall situations. The problem was presented, we quickly shut it down because we think we are doing something about it already. But what we are doing has not been communicated. So how does our partner know strongly that the situation they have presented to us, we are already handling? A lot of the time, four things strongly affect how our family life emanates. One, money, our financial status. There was a research recently that presented that about 80% of Ghanaians are earning below 5,000 Ghana cedis. 80% of Ghanaians are earning below 5,000 Ghana cedis. All of us sitting in this room, what can 5,000 Ghana cedis do in today's day for the 30 days before another pay comes? So the insignificance of our financial situation affects how we even show love to our partners. Is that not true? It affects the kind of love we show, right? The money is not there. We want to do it. We want to do our best, but it's just not there. It will strongly affect the relationship, right? So what we need to do is to often be transparent about it. Let our partners know what it is the situation we are dealing with. Set priorities properly. Discuss the debts that exist, and then make decisions together about savings and dealing with emergencies. Okay? Another one of this big four is sex. Sex. How many of us are able to discuss sex properly with our partners? It's a conversation our culture shies away so much that we act differently when it comes to these topics. But talking about our desires is important. Our partners need to know how we feel about them, how we want to manage. Even sometimes we have health challenges that are affecting how we're able to deliver. So our partners have to have this conversation. We have to have these conversations together. The next thing is parenting. A lot of us men strongly believe that once we are working hard, going to work, and bringing money, buying food, paying the rent, paying the bills, and every other thing, we are parenting. It is true, but that is not enough, right? That is not all it takes, right? So we have our partners, our wives also thinking in the direction of we are the ones waking up early. We are listening to all the cry. We are doing all of these things. So ours ranks higher than your provision. It becomes a conflict. It's important that we both understand these dynamics so that together we can work at it to see how we strengthen this situation and then improve the situation at home. The next one is our in-laws. How many of us have in-law challenges? Our in-laws are a significant part of the family, okay? You cannot throw away your partner's parents. Your partner cannot throw away your parents. They are part of the family, so we have to make room for them and discuss positively how we will manage that relationship so that we set healthy boundaries and have room for them to also operate when they need to. Because a lot has been said, I will quickly just conclude that we want to be men who can provide without destroying ourselves. We have to keep that in mind. We want to provide without destroying ourselves. We want to be husbands who can lead without controlling. We want to be fathers who can be respected without being feared. And we want to be partners who can apologize without feeling diminished. We should also be friends who can listen without fixing everything. Men, are we in the house? Yeah. We love to fix, right? It is what we know how to do. So we want to try our best to listen as they want us to do without fixing too much. So at the end of the day, we live in a healthy home. We get rested enough so that when we come back to work, productivity can be high. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. And on that note, one key lesson I am taking away, I am not the domestic Bob the Builder. By all means, let there be cracks. Try and fix what you can and leave the rest. Thank you so very much. It's been fantastic, Dr. Eugene or Mr. Eugene. It's been fantastic having you. Our next lecture is one that I am particularly very excited about. And we're considering the topic, workplace management and stress. Workplace stress management. We have gone through the family phase of it, the social friendly phase of it. We're now bringing it home. And GBC Men, by all means, will let men be men. Please, let's make welcome here to the podium the Human Resource Director for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. John Kurasari, please. A round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies here in present. I have a little challenge. I'm here to come and speak about stress, but I'm already stressed. Because you have titans like Dr. Hossein and the last speaker preceding me. So the pressure to sort of catch up is very, very there. Anyway, thank you. Mandiji has just told me that I should just be myself. So I'll do just that. To the organizers of this program, I'd like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And to all the men here present, I would like to say you are welcome. And all the ladies here too, I welcome you warmly. Especially so because there are single parents here who are women and they play the role of men. And I think we must acknowledge them. Now, my duty is to center this at the workplace. So I will just attempt to do that. So work is an important part of life, and it provides us with income, purpose, identity, relationships, and opportunities to contribute. And it is so critical because if you don't have a job to wake up to every morning to attend, it is a major stressor. So that is why the workplace is it is very important that the workplace becomes conducive to our general well-being. For a public service place like GBC, we are always involved in deadlines, live programming, public expectations, technical disruptions, changing priorities and shift in schedules, administrative demands, interpersonal pressures, and the need to maintain high standards, even under very difficult situations. And I believe it goes to even the armed forces, because you are always under pressure to deliver, regardless of the conditions under which you find yourselves. So the objective of this engagement with you is not to look for all the sources of the pressure that we bear, but to help us recognize the unhealthy stresses and respond constructively, strengthen personal resilience, and to contribute to a workplace where people can perform without unnecessarily compromising their well-being. Dr. Hobson has spoken a lot about the well-being of the individual, and I think the last speaker also spoke about the mental well-being that we need to strive to achieve at all times. So what is stress? So from the little literature I reviewed, stress is basically the physical and physiological response that occurs when a person perceives that demands or challenges may exceed the resources available to deal with them. It has already been said that stress is not necessarily a negative thing. Stress keeps us alert and always it gives us the need to do our best when the need arises. Now, stress is influenced not only by what happens, but also by how we interpret a situation and what resources we have, how much control we feel we have, and whether we have adequate support. And as I go along, I'll share some personal experiences with you. I left school in 1996. And my first job was as a sales representative. And you are required to meet a certain target. And the resources you needed to deliver were not there. And brothers, I can tell you, it was a very, very difficult moment for me. At a point, I'll get home, the symptoms that Dr. Hobson spoke to us about. Appetite was gone. So think about what will happen in the bedroom. So at age 32, my libido had gone down totally. And I had to go and see a doctor to address this. She told me either I leave the job or I'm able to convince my employers to improve upon my working conditions. It was an Israeli company. And there was no way you're going to get the Israeli to, put money where he thinks he shouldn't put. So I quit. So at age 32, I had what you call, I just couldn't perform. And it was very tragic. It nearly destroyed my marriage. Yes. So let me share with you some causes of workplace stress. I'm sure most of us are aware about that already, but I'll still go through. So there's workload and time pressure, where too many tasks competing for your attention are before you. Then you have unrealistic deadlines or frequent urgent requests, long working hours without sufficient recovery, staff shortages or uneven distribution of responsibilities. Nowadays, employers are always trying to maximize profit and minimize, cost. So a job that maybe 5 people could perform, they make 1 or 2 people do it. And that puts immense pressure on the people working there, the staff working there. So it's a major source of stressor where people have to deliver within a very, very, very difficult conditions. Then we have organizational factors such as unclear responsibilities or conflicting instructions, frequent changes in priorities or procedures, limited resources, equipment or support. I've spoken about that. You talk about insufficient feedback or recognition, perceived unfairness and inconsistent treatment. Then we have people and relationships. You have issues like conflict among colleagues or between supervisors and staff, poor communication, bullying, harassment, or disrespectful behavior. Once again, I'll share with you a personal experience. I work under a female boss, and for some reason, she wasn't happy when I spoke to a female colleague. And she would call me to her office and berate me that don't speak to this one, don't speak to that one. And I was like, why? So I had to also walk away from that job because I felt that my dignity was at stake. Difficulty in setting boundaries with demanding colleagues and stakeholders. Then of all the literature I reviewed, there's one thing that I did not find: factionalism. Factionalism is where within an organization you have little groups, fighting against each other and disrupting the normal flow of the work. In 2003, I worked in the free zones in a manufacturing company. And that was the time that the Act 651 had just been passed. So it brought about multiplicity of unionism within a workplace. So you have an organization, you have 2 more unions operating. And they say the one with the majority numbers has a bargaining certificate. Brothers, what was happening was that because of the rivalry, some staff, so they operated machines and they run shift. So the one who comes on the morning shift, when he's closing, he will jack the machine in such a way that the one who will come the second shift, if he doesn't take care, fatality may result. And I can tell you, some people lost their hand because of this. And the tension and stress that came with it, you could just imagine. So that's also one thing that we can do. So factionalism can come out from a political, religious, or some social background. So we need to also watch that, please. We can also speak about financial or family pressures, as already touched on by the earlier speakers. Poor sleep and inadequacy. My brother has spoken about that. Then bringing unresolved workplace concerns home and vice versa. So when we close, we have to leave all the troubles at the workplace, and then we should not bring issues from the home to the workplace. I have some information here, but I think Doc has spoken about it, so I'll just brush over them. Some symptoms of stress: you have constant headache, muscle tension, fatigue, poor sleep, digestive discomfort, and rapid heartbeat. Emotionally, you can exhibit some irritability, anxiety, frustration, and low mood, feeling overwhelmed. The cognitive is manifested through poor concentration, forgetfulness, indecision, negative thinking. Behaviorally, we can talk about withdrawal symptoms, lateness to work, reduce motivation, conflict, and increase mistakes. Then with the effect on performance is that there's lower productivity, reduced creativity, absenteeism, presenteeism, and disengagement. And all this can affect the organization in a very, very serious way. For instance, we could have reduced productivity and service quality, more errors. So errors occur in the delivery of work, higher absenteeism and staff turnover, lower morale and weak teamwork, loss of institutional knowledge when experienced staff disengage. Because sometimes some who cannot stand it, they leave. And it's also one major source of attrition. Now, I would like to share with you some strategies we could use to combat some of these realities. There's this acronym, STOP. It just means stop briefly, pause before reacting, take a deep breath like Dr. Hussein took us through, identify what is happening, what your friends are feeling, and what you are feeling and what is within your control. Then you proceed deliberately. Choose the necessary action rather than reacting automatically. But at this stage, you need to pause and ask yourself some questions. You ask yourself, what exactly is stressing me right now? Sometimes one begins to feel very heavy without knowing what it is that is bothering you. But when you sit down in a very reflective mood, you'll be able to identify the source of that heaviness or that stress. I mean, it is stress. Then you ask yourself, is it urgent, important, or both, or neither? Then you ask yourself, most importantly, what part of the situation can I control? Because if you have a situation before you and you cannot control it, it becomes a major source of stress. So deal with what you can control. And those that you cannot control, you may have to seek help. Then you ask yourself, what support, what information or resources do I need? What can wait? It means prioritization. What can you do now? What can you postpone to tomorrow without hurting the whole thing? So that you do what you have to do now, and then you kind of arrange it in such a way that you can deal with it within your own time. The issue about prioritization is very, very critical when we have to deal with workplace stress. Because if you have a lot of tasks to perform and you don't prioritize and you want to do everything at a go, you crash. So prioritization is very, very, very key. You may also would like to break larger tasks into smaller groups so that you can take them one by one. And if you give yourself time, you can do it. Then you also have to take time to recover. You need breaks. Much has been said about rest and leave. In GBC, we take leave very, very seriously. At the beginning of the year, we do what we call leave scheduling, leave plan, leave roster, and people are urged to stick to it. It is the law. In the Act 651, it is there. It says that you cannot even decide to forgo leave. No. So leave, we take it very, very serious here because it comes with rest. My boss has shared with you his experience about having to move to Tamale for 1 week and the resultant effect he had. So we don't joke with leave here. Sometimes we have conflict between us and our colleagues. And it's very, very important that you have to have a way to manage the situation. Because if you don't manage it well, it can add to your stress. So in a conflicting situation like that, you pause before saying something that will make you angry or something that will exacerbate the situation. So you try to keep a cool demeanor. Lower your voice when you are speaking to your colleague. ask for clarification before assuming bad things, bad intentions. Use facts and specific examples instead of accusations. Because sometimes what we think is the case is not the reality. So you need to dwell on the facts and use that to advance your case. And then when you see between you and your colleague there is an issue and you need to deal with it, if it's becoming too intense, step back and then come back later and talk to your friend. I believe that's a way of resolving conflict at the workplace, which, if left unresolved, may heighten the stress that we are feeling. And then, once again, when conflict occurs, define the issue rather than attacking the person. Listen to understand the other person's perspective. Separate facts from assumptions. I think I've touched on that already. Agree on the specific behavior or process that needs to change. Document formal matters appropriately when required. Escalate serious or unresolved issues through the proper organizational channels. That is why we have policies at the workplace where matters that are beyond you, you can escalate it to the appropriate quarters. In GBC, the Directorate of the Human Resource is well poised to deal with such situations. So, in concluding my engagement with you, let me just say that the supervisors and managers also have a role to play. And what is required of managers and supervisors is to set clear expectations. If your subordinate does not know what is expected of him or her, how do you expect him or her to deliver? So you must be very clear in your expectations. And then workload monitoring. You give a workload that is reasonably achievable so that you don't come back and then say the subordinate is not performing. You must be fair. We must be fair in our dealings with our staff. Then we must also recognize it when they perform well. Recognition is very, very much important. It adds to our self-esteem. If we don't give feedback as to the performance of the staff, it's like they are going to fetch water with a basket, and it doesn't help. And then we must also try and support them in every way that we can. That's the only way we can also help to deal with stress. So, my last take is that instead of asking, why had this not been completed, supervisors should ask, what is preventing the completion and what support or clarification is needed? So this is part of the support system you're talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, the stress at the workplace is very, very real. And to the extent that we spend most of our time here, you wake up in the morning, you can't wake at 8, you close at 5, sometimes even beyond that. So the workplace is actually our home, and we have to make it a very conducive environment for everyone. So I'd like to say thank you. I'll end here, and if there are questions, then we take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My Director of Human Resource, Mr. John Kurasari. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's appreciate our partners, Phytotech. Phytotech stands with every man, and if you have recently been or used one of their products, you'll really very much appreciate where I'm coming from. The last time they were here, they left us in a near brawl. See GBC Men being men over Phytotech products. And when they had left, 2 weeks later, somebody came to me and said, that day you were sharing the thing, you pretended I wasn't here. Now the one I had is finished. What do you want me to do? So, Dr. Lucia, please, today, don't let them come and attack me. Do what you have to do. GBC Men, let men be men. Thank you very much. When Dr. Hobson was here, he got us into an exercise. It's good we repeat that. Please, let's all humbly be on our feet and take in the usual breath exercise. and various. I didn't realize this was such a good stress relief. No, Dr. Hobson, I tabra biem. Thank you so very much. We're going to take a short spot of music and then the very much awaited, please take your seat, very much long awaited open forum will be here. And please, if you have the opportunity and the microphone, straight to the point, very snappy. We're almost overshooting our time. Thank you very much. Please give us a spot of music and then we transition into the open forum. In-house DJ, please. You promised to give us a Himalayan simulation. Please, with a round of applause, let's make welcome the Venerable Ni Odate Lamte. On that note, Ni, the podium and all else here is yours. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure, by all means.
Thanks very much, Alan, for steering the affairs right from the beginning to this time. DG, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome. Now, officers and men in the uniform, when we start, I'm going to allow you to ask your questions. I'll come to you straight because I don't have much time. I know we have questions. So once we start, but let me first invite Dr. Hobson. Dr. Hobson, you may, okay. Eugene. If you're ready, please take a seat. And then Mr. John Grassary, our Director of Human Resource, who resides over more than 1,000 staff. GBC staff more than 1,000 across the country.
With 60,000 tons.
And you fix it.
We've had a lot, and this is the time for us to go over and over what has already been said. Our time is fast spent. But Eugene, when you had the floor, you made a statement that finance play a key role in stress. And before we came here, I met a couple of people who were telling me, listen, in our workplace here, for some of us, it's all about money. Yes. And I was really, he said, yes, fine. Can you just in a few minutes, about a minute or so, go back on the effect of, if you like, financial dryness on stress? That connectivity between the two.
Thank you very much. I think financial dryness of finances is a baseline to almost everything we do.
Okay.
The lack of it is going to bring challenging situations into your life because your affordability is critical to you feeling well. Your thought processes are going to be about whether you have it or you don't have it. You're not going to feel good if you don't have it. And so your actions will not be positive enough if you don't have money. So money is very critical, very important. It's just that it should not be the defining tool for our lives. Because if we show up to work, we will definitely get the money because we are working. Absolutely. So as we are there, we should as well give it our due. We should be passionate about it so that the job or the workplace gets the positive outcome of our presence as they also strive to give us what they can give us at the end of the month. So money is key. It's very important to our well-being.
All right. Before I come to you, Dr. Hobson, you also made a statement about consultancy or something you did in the US or a research. And after the project, some figure of 80% shot up to 200% or so. I'll come to you to elaborate on that. But let me acknowledge the sponsor of my clothing, TMT Fashion Center, who are located around Amasama Biase. They buy my clothing for me. So for men here, officers in uniform, If you want more of these, see me after. Their contact 0240308437. Now, Doc, you may go back to that. It means that as a country, we don't appreciate that concept of stress and its effects on our productivity. Can you go back on that a little bit?
Yeah, because even before I touch on that, just want to add a little bit to the financial issue.
Okay.
Because finances and money actually define our status quo and drive our social appreciation of ourselves. So our self-worth is linked to our finances. So the person who does not have enough money, you can imagine even the social appreciation, even at home, even within your friends, within your colleagues, even at the workplace. So it puts a lot of pressure, and if you don't take time, anybody that is struggling with low self-esteem, it affects every other part of the person's mental health, even biologically. Now, that is one of the main aspects which is linked to how the individual reasons, thinks, and work on himself or herself in order to engage the workplace environment, far apart from hard skills. Now, Professor Dandana has come up with an idea that if we look at the workplace performance, we are looking at the tangibles and intangibilities, which from the human perspective, we look at the human beings are intangible. I remember there was a time they asked me to develop a program for disarmament and demobilization of how to disarm people who are using both big and short and small arms. And then I thought about the preparation of the program, and immediately I said, no. If I want to use information system to develop this program, I may deviate. So let me rather concentrate on the intrapersonal connectivity. So the arms within the individual is not the arm that you are shooting, but the arm that is lodged in the cognition of the individual. So it means that the intrapersonal being that forms 85% of our psycho-emotional well-being. That is why today when you go to the hospital, WHO has established that all the diseases we report at the hospital today, 85% are stress and psycho-emotionally related, and they are not biological.
For real.
Can you imagine that you have sent your child to school and he comes back in an examination and scores 15 over 100 all the time? What will you tell yourself? But that is what we do to ourselves all the time. So we came up with this idea that no, how do we boost the 85% of the persons and the human capital in the workplace? When we begin to concentrate on that, you realize that the hard skills are performing much more than they used to when concentration was on. Oh, let's train on this policy. Let's train on this soft skill. Let's train on this new product. Let's train on this ICT program. Forgetting that between the ICT, all the policies, it is a human being that is sitting behind the machines. Why can't an accountant add 3 zeros when he's confused from home to the figure? How do you imagine that 85 good percent of the person is dysfunctional? What can the 15% do? So most of the time, I see people who want to work on a lot of programs to revamp the workplace performance and all that, and the concentration is much more on just the hard skills. At the end of the day, the hard skills will be there, but the soft skill will destroy whatever the hard skills are there to be used for.
Very well, Doc. I see a connectivity between a good environment at the workplace and at home as well.
That's right.
Good. So now, what should HR, I think this will come to my boss here. What should HR managers or directors do to create a balance between these two? Because one may come from home stressed already. It will impact negatively on productivity. And if it happens from the workplace back home, so we see that kind of give and take. John, my boss, let me call you John here. How do you create a balance between these two? At the end of the day, the worker is the employee is very, very crucial in the equation.
Right. Thank you, Ni. I think the employee is not a robot. He's a human being with emotions. And as a supervisor or as a boss, you should cultivate his or her friendship. Okay. Be a brother or a sister to him or her. Don't just be interested in the job, because you need him or her to perform at that optimum level. So by so doing, you have to show him or her that you care. And if you're able to establish that relationship, he or she will come to you and say, I have this challenge. Okay. Some of the challenges are very, very minimal that even you, in your capacity as a boss, can resolve there and then. There are some that are a bit institutional. So if it requires that, you assist him or her to go through the process of receiving a solution, I think you do that. But where you are the boss, you sit on a high pedestal. You don't care about what happens to the person. The person comes to work late. All you have to do is to trigger a disciplinary process. No, but you have to understand why the person came to work late. See? So we should be human towards our staff, our subordinate. And once we do that, I can tell you, they'll go all the way for you.
That's right.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, are there early warning signs for one to look out and see that this person, this employee, is getting to that space of being stressed up? Are there early warning signs? That's to any of that. I'll come to you, John. Okay. Either Eugene or Dr. Hobson.
Yeah, of course, there are warning signs. First of all, we want to understand the person, know the person for who he is or who she is at the baseline, so that when changes start showing up, we can recognize it. It's nice that HR talked about lateness to work. There are people who are struggling to sleep at night. Their sleep probably comes in the early hours of the morning, around 4 a.m. So by the time they end up waking up, the alarm is set all right, but by the time they end up waking up to rush out to work, it's already late. They're not getting enough sleep, right? So this is what we need to understand about them. Should we look around changing their work structure, their timing, and all that? We need to really understand it. It could be that person has a habit of something which is not really positive, but we have to understand it. So knowing the individual, first of all, and then when deviations are happening, we recognize it. Some people, when they are stressed, may end up isolating themselves from groups. They used to be friendly, they used to just accept things calmly, but all of a sudden they are irritable. You say something and then they flare up. That is a sign.
They overreact, as it were.
Something is not right, right? This is not who he is, but something is not right at this moment. Sometimes even food, they either don't eat enough as they used to be, or now they tend to eat more than necessary. They are all signs we look out for. Even the sleep, they either sleep less now or sleep more than necessary. Very little things that are around us just change when somebody is indulging stress beyond his.
So this could be early warning signs.
Yeah, some of the early warning signs may be, it is established that before you say somebody is having mental challenge, number one, the person must be deviating from a normal norm. So what are the norms? The person sees you, he say hello. The person sees you, he smiles. The person sees you, he call you by name. But you realize that after some time, that person has deviated from that norm. There are certain times that you see the person comes up with an argument over some petty things that you realize the person's reaction is far beyond what is really happening. It's a deviation. Now, norms are defined by the individual groupings. Our norms may be different from some people's norms.
That's right.
But within the framework of what we call our norm, we can judge people's performance, behavior by that norm. Then the second thing is that the deviation must be persistent.
Okay.
Short-term deviations can be because of triggers that can dwindle with time.
Okay.
But when the deviation is becoming persistent, the person frowns his face. Then tomorrow, you just attribute the frowning of the face maybe because of A, B, C, D. Then tomorrow, the person frowns his face again. Then next tomorrow, the person frowns his face again. Then you must, it's becoming what? Persistent. Now, the third thing is that not only persistent, but is it beginning to affect the person's relationship, life? It's making people begin to withdraw from him. It's making him begin to isolate himself. It's making people not to relate with him better. So it becomes what? Affecting the person's life. And then the fourth one is, how is it affecting other people? There are some people, they are deviating. They may not even know that they are deviating. But the people that are around the person may be getting affected in one way or the other. Some may open up to tell you, but some may not be able to tell you. That is why most of the time in a workspace, feedback is always very important. And finally, how is the person contributing to the environment?
Okay. Mr. Grassary, so should you meet a staff that behaves, quote unquote, abnormally, quote unquote, I use my word advisedly, I'm opposite the norm, let me put it that way. The person has not approached you, but you can see this kind of signs and signals. What do you do as an HR director?
I think you have a duty of care, to approach that person. Call him or her to your office or quietly, and then interact with him or her. You say, Kojo or Amba, I see that these days you are not your usual self. Can you share with me what the problem is? I'm here to help you. That's why I'm your boss. You see, some people even get suicidal, and it takes such interventions to reverse that trend. So, like I did say earlier, we owe the person the duty of care as a director or as a supervisor. You know him, you work with him or her every time. So when there is something odd, you should be able to notice that and address it. So you don't say, so far as the person is performing his or her job, you will leave him or her to her fate. No, you have a duty to interrupt the person and find out, because at the end of the day, it is to the advantage of the organization. Performance, becomes optimum. Exactly. But where it dwindles and you sit down and you don't do anything about it, I think whatever happens to that person should be on your conscience.
Eugene, you made a striking statement earlier about positive and negative stress, right? Now, so then let me ask you, is stress normal? I mean, should we expect stress?
Yes.
Stress is normal. If it's normal and we should expect it, and what are the limitations? Are there barriers that when we cross, you know that this one is problematic?
Yes. Stress is normal, and we should all expect it. I mean, going through life, there's no way you can avoid stress. We can only deal with it.
So what are permissible levels of stress?
Good. So everything we talked about, Dr. Hobson clearly talked about the points where things start to deviate, where you are not conforming to the norms, it's affecting your life, how you are productive, how you're living your life, your ability to cope, and all of those things. Once stress comes, and to an extent, it's helping you perform. That is the use stress, the beginning phase of it at a short.
No, explain that to me.
Okay.
Where stress helps you to perform.
So there's a normal curve, right? The normal curve that we often have, where a situation rises, gets to the top, peaks, and then drops.
Okay.
The point at the top where it peaks, the beginning phase to that point is a positive part of the curve.
Equilibrium.
Because yes, it's rising. It's helping you perform over time, over a short period of time. But at that point that it peaks and then it's dropping, every other stress you experience from that point becomes negative. It's at that point you will start feeling all the unnecessary things that we experience, right? So, you, like I said, everybody has to, first of all, know yourself, how you are as the norm. And then when things are not working or things are not going positively, we all have the capacity to cope, right? Even when we experience new stresses, the first thing the body will do is try to adapt. The body will try to cope, right? When we do this, then we are managing gradually, but to a point where our capacity is not able to handle it anymore, then we start experiencing the negative stress there. Yeah.
So let me come to you, Doc. Can you have an employee who is stressed but doesn't know that he or she is stressed?
Yes.
So what happens?
It is because there are some other contributing factors or underlying factors that the person may not be privy to. Take for instance, if someone is coming from a family that have, like my brother have already mentioned, that has some preconditions. Maybe either the family has some history of mental health issues. Maybe that person in his or her childhood had gone through some accidents, or even as a fetus in the womb, there may be some kind of dysfunctions that might have occurred. So those previous traumas of life can leave somebody very vulnerable as far as these triggers are concerned. So the person may not know that he's reacting, or he's deviating, or he's becoming dysfunctional. It is said that in a proverb, the day a mad person knows that he's mad, then the healing has started. So
Obviously.
you can appreciate the fact that even when we talk about anger, stress of anger, we have 13 different types of anger. And if you want to resolve somebody who is going through anger challenges, you need to appreciate the type of anger the person has and be able to know how it works with other type of angers before you are able to deal with it. So in that same vein, we may not be able to appreciate how the person is reacting until we see some of the signs that we can tell. So for instance, if I should tell you that,
In about 30 seconds on that.
yes, the anger strand in us runs about 280 kilometers per hour
Really?
in every human being at certain age. Can you imagine you are driving a car with 280 kilometers per hour, and I am driving my car 280 kilometers per hour, and we collide? Would there be a survivor?
No.
Not at all.
At all.
Then what about if I should just start my engine? 280 kilometers, and I am still at the same place. What will happen to the engine?
You break it.
The engine will break. But you see, we don't know how much this thing is destroying us. So it is very difficult for all of us to just know that this is happening to me, this is happening to me. That is why nobody is an island. Somebody should be able to prompt us. And that is why I always say feedback is very important, especially in the workspace.
Very soon we'll be going to the open forum for questions, but let me acknowledge my sponsor again. TMC Fashion Center is your destination for beautifully crafted fashion for both men and women. For gentlemen, your kaftan, custom-made shirts, suits, bespoke menswear. Now for ladies, elegant cover-in suits, stunning party dresses, and custom-made outfits designed just for you. Whether it's a special occasion or simply everyday style, will bring your fabric to life with a touch of class. Located at Amasaman Abiase and telephone 0240308437. TMC Fashion inspired by decency. John, would you say that HR practitioners in Ghana really appreciate some of these things we are discussing? Would you genuinely, honestly say that?
It's a yes or no answer. You see, it has to do also with emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are an HR practitioner and you lack or you have a very low emotional intelligence, then your appreciation of these challenges, you just more or less brush them aside. Okay, I have gone out of my way to sit with people, pray with them.
Fantastic.
Yes, we prayed. We prayed together. Tells me the problem. We pray. Some of them money to even go home with is a problem. So you just it doesn't take so much. You take a lot of money and give it to the person, and the gratitude with which they come to you the following day to say thank you, sir. I mean, it tells you the depth of the challenges we have.
From here, can I come to you for something? Just asking.
You're a big so I don't think that it differs from a practitioner to a practitioner.
Absolutely.
If you are deep and you are very perceptive, you are
perceptive.
Yes, you are. It's easier for you to recognize such stresses in people and then deal with them to your own ability.
That's right.
Yes.
I want to believe that these kinds of appreciations will really, I might be wrong, will really take place in public institutions. I think that for the private, because they are money conscious, they might not really try to understand some of these, downs in terms of the behaviors of their staff. At the same time, there are some private institutions that are really take these seriously. Now, as a country, generally, and this is to you, Dr. Hobson, what should we do? Because you see, sometimes look how we brush them under the carpet, but it has a very dire effect on productivity and the nation as a whole. What should we do as a country?
The first thing is creating the awareness. That's why I want us to give it up for the
GBC Men.
GBC Men.
Oh.
Let's give it up for them.
And the head of GBC Men, Prof, is here.
And the head of the GBC Men. And there are certain things that happen in life that really change the course of how people think. When I was listening to the ND, he said, what happened to him have changed his mindset. And that alone will develop a kind of scope in which his leadership will drive. So awareness comes in different forms. It comes from circumstances, it comes from situations, it comes from experiences that may not be even pleasant to us. That's why even the Bible said that we have gone through all these things so that we may be able to comfort others with the comfort we ourselves have received. So as a country, awareness is very important. And it is very difficult to appreciate the fact that men don't talk. If you go through all the research works, you can get statistics on women percentage, this percentage, this percentage, this percentage, but men.
Though, let me pause you here. Is it a reason women always get support for their programs, but you hardly hear any support from it?
Of course, yes. But the question we even need to ask further is that how many widowers do we have as against to how many widows?
Okay. All right.
So this is to tell us that even our culture setting and the patriarchal system with which we operate is sometimes helping and not also helping us in a way. But these days, I think the dynamics is changing.
All right.
With programs like this, in yesteryears, we may not even be thinking about programs like this for men coming together, talk about stress. When we even know the MC was saying that it is girlish kind of attitude.
Yes.
Can you
It's
imagine?
the fittest, the
Defeated-
fittest, position, exactly.
So I think it is the first thing is the awareness. And then we should begin to drive policies that are human-centered. When our policies are beginning to be human-centered, then certainly we are creating an environment when concentration is not on the policies, but the concentration will be on the people.
Pause, Doc. So to the House, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, do you think they have any policy about men?
Just
This is asking, why should they have? Gender, definitely men will come.
Just recently, I heard about 2 days training program for the Ministry of Trade. Ministry of Trade on gender and the dynamics of gender in workplace performance. And I was telling them that the previous approach to gender is much more about the difference between man and woman and all that. But when we went through the different approach to it, to understand the dynamics of feminism, masculinity in performance, it also creates another understanding for them to appreciate even the cognitive approach to how the dynamics merge together for productivity and growth.
That's right.
So it moves away from the traditional way of how we look at things and comes to bear on the performance and productivity itself. So the good question you asked is, I look through some of the policies that are from the gender perspective and children and women. And most of the policies I see, take for instance, we are looking at how children have been exploited, and we are running after the children. And if, take for instance, 80% of the policies are to get these children, help these children, support these children, without looking at what is happening within the family system,
where men play key roles.
Where the family becomes the womb out of which the children are coming from. If no policy is tailored towards them, we may go and get the children. We may support the children, but we have not solved the problem. So if there are some even policies that are tailored towards the family system, I think we'll go a long way. We may not see the result immediately, but with time, it will anchor the solutions that we have been seeking for.
Fantastic. John, about 30 seconds for you. Then I open the floor for you. Heard your colleague speaking from the HR perspective. What do you want to add to that?
I just would like to say that, as I've said already, that the workplace is where we spend most of our time, and there should be, institutional policies that protects the interests of the employee. And I think supervisors should also be given some training in terms of emotional intelligence, counseling and coaching. I'm sure it will go a long way in reducing the stress levels. For the stress to come, but it's our ability to deal with them as they come that is most important.
Absolutely.
So I do think that supervisors need to be, coached more, to be trained more to deal with their staff.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you're watching us, this is a GBC Men powered event concentrating on workplace stress. And so far, so good. We're going to open the floor for contributions, basically about questions and clarity. So my co-presenter is here, Daryl.
Right, a quick intervention.
You want to use my microphone?
Thank you very much. A quick intervention. We're really very much pushed for time, and so we're going to make this really very snappy. It does not mean it is the end of it. If you have any follow-on questions or follow-up questions, by all means, reach out to us and we'll make sure that gets to our resource person. So on that note, one question will have to come from, or one contribution will come from each group here present. Are we okay, Mr. Chairman? Sure. Thank you very much. And so the first group, anyone at all could take the first point. All right, okay. GBC Men.
Quick one to me, my director of DHR. What I've noticed is power relations and solving the problem. And all the examples has been like when you're subordinate. But when you walk up to an office, and that you also notice that your boss is somehow not behaving the usual way. How do you deal with it as a worker?
Okay. That's a good one there.
Sure. Any more before a response? Let's take two more if there is before a response. All right, okay. Floor is yours.
Yeah. No question anymore. Really? Okay, there's a question one at the back here.
Another one at the back.
Exactly,
okay.
Please, thank you. I thought the men in uniform will ask one or two questions. Fantastic. So, Daryl, there are questions here.
I'd like to find out from the panelists if there are any scientific way of assessing the memory. That is the brain, for instance, knowing at the point when either it's gone down or it's gone up. I'm asking this because I know there is. It's able to measure, it goes down, and it is food, diet, that is able to do. If you go in for any medicine, you are in trouble.
Thank you very much. I hear there's going to be a question from our men in uniform.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, he absolutely. Then the rest will follow.
Thank you very much. I'm CSP Abdul Latif from the Ghana Prison Service. Very interesting discussion. The military, paramilitary institutions are cases a bit unique because of how bureaucratic we are, the regimentality and what have you, which sometimes creates a kind of psychologically unsafe environment for you to really express yourself. So in such situations, how do you deal with the situation? Thank you.
That's a deep one. Order, baby before complain.
Okay, you may respond to these and then.
All right. Okay. So who want to take it? Eugene, Dog.
Start from the military aspect.
Okay.
I think over the years, there's a lot more improvement in how the system works. Currently, I have been with the Therapy and Wellness Department of 37 Military Hospital, and I know the amount of work that department is doing to improve the woes of the people in uniform. Oftentimes, professionals go into the various barracks, the units, and all of that, and engage people in uniform, their wives, their relatives, and all of these people, and really create that awareness that yes, you're in uniform, but it is not to say you should feel so strong to just bottle everything up.
You have no feelings.
Yes, you should still have feelings. When things are not going right, you have an avenue to express, right? The department finds a way. If it has to do with the institution, there's a way that the department manages to get to the head of the institution and see how they're able to manage this situation so that at least the men in uniform still have the way of dealing with the things they are dealing with, even if it has to do with the power struggle and all of that. They find a way to deal with that. Yeah.
Eugene, is that easy as you're saying it?
Nothing is so easy.
With the men in uniform, actually.
Nothing is so easy, right?
Okay.
But we are encouraging it. We are creating the awareness that there is an avenue, right? We start from there, right? We start and then see how we can build on that and go forward. So the avenue is there.
So you mean 37 military hospital, right? That's where
Yeah,
you were,
37
right?
military
So
hospital.
would you say you will have to visit the other units also and see what pertains there?
Yeah, so we can visit. I think that the other challenge is the professionals, the availability of professionals.
Okay.
How many of these clinical psychologists or counseling psychologists or other psychologists do we have in the various
Okay.
institutions? I think the Ghana Armed Forces is taking critical steps to always make sure they are enlisting professionals into. So almost all units across, they are trying to station a psychologist
That's good to
across
hear.
almost yes. You go to most of the units across the country, they're trying to make sure a psychologist is stationed at this place. So I think it's something the other service people can also
Emulate.
employ. Yeah, emulate.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can also attest to that because some years back, I was contacted to have a program with the armed forces.
Okay.
In a program I designed from womb to tomb, which is pre and post retirement management. So retirement starts from the womb and not when you are getting close to the tomb. So it's a program I've developed for them. And when I took them about 160 to 200 of them, then they came up with a communique that they want the program and other programs I have to be enlisted in their military training schools.
I see.
So, like we are all saying, awareness is one thing that will help.
Okay.
We may not see the result immediately. Some of the times it may not even come in our lifetime.
Yes.
But when we start from somewhere, maybe our generations to come may come to benefit from it. So, for instance, the work you have started here right now with GBC Men, organizing this kind of program. Can you imagine the kind of awareness you are creating? It will affect you. You may not see it today. You may not even know the impact you are making. And your MD will just think that, oh, we are supporting men to be able to do something at GBC. But he will be very surprised. 5, 10, 50 years, when you are on your retirement, you begin to see the fruits of the seed you have sown today.
Can we applaud the GBC men? Let's applaud GBC men. Again, us more. So, if DHR will want to address Mr. Alote's question.
Yes, to your question, I think it still rests on the
superior.
The superior. See, if a superior assume a persona of a dictator, an autocrat, how would a subordinate go inside our meet him and then say, you don't look so cheerful today? You know, it doesn't happen. But if you build that relationship with them, they'll be able to approach you, and I mean, it's a joint, let's say, journey. Okay, sir, I'm sorry to use this example. I walk into my boss's office. The troubles of GBC, sometimes they weigh down on him. Then I ask, say, are you okay? Then he will just scratch his head and say, it's not easy. You know, that they will share ideas, they will move on. But I've served under past directors general, and I will not dare go to them and ask them, how are you? No, I wouldn't. But because of how he relates with me, that human way, I'm able to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to clap for our DG? We are clapping for you.
That's interesting.
It's good to
That's
hear. Good to hear.
interesting.
So
That's
it means it happens both ways.
Yes.
Exactly, both ways. All right. I would wish a lady in uniform ask a question. Honestly,
it's true.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think what we'll look for another question is, there was a question about how to assess these things. There are psychometric ways to assess whatever mental challenges people are experiencing, right from when they are trying to develop to when they even become severe. Just like we do lab tests, there are other ways that we also assess these problems to see specifically what is going wrong and what needs to be addressed.
All right. So, yeah. Oh, great. Alan, there's a question here.
This should probably be the last one.
It should be. If the ladies refuse,
a lady want to ask.
Yeah, a lady wanted to ask. Yes, yes, she said yes.
My name is Christopher Beyere from
Okay.
the Ghana Revenue Authority, the head
Okay.
office. And then I want to thank the
For the head office?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to thank the GBC Men for this program. But from what I picked here, it looks as if we are all aware of the problems. Maybe not too much aware until today. There are a lot of deaths associated with stress. Maybe we mention BP, but without knowing that it's stress induced.
That's right.
What do we do? So as GBC Men here and now, with all the and other security agencies present here, if we take a step and say, look, we can create our own Ghana Stress Day. Name it whatever we want to name it. And say that we are in August.
Yes.
You can say every time for whatever August, we are going to do ABCD programs to create awareness of stress. Come out with the figures of stress-related deaths. It's happening. Can you imagine how it will go?
Yeah.
Instead of operating in silos. I mean, when you have retreats, you go, they'll just bring somebody, straight management, you come and talk over there and go. Those of you privileged to be there, you listen before you leave there. In itself is a stress again, you know. So let's pick it serious, and then from here, let's get a sort of communique, and then steps to see how best we can make this a reality. All the world's biggest program starts little. Okay, and we'll get there. Fantastic. And I'll be happy to say that GBC Men will be the ones to start that.
Thank you very much.
Actually, some years back, I realized that we have been dealing with a lot of suicide cases, even children, adolescents. So I thought about it and I said, no, you know what? We will not sit again for them to come. Let us get into the communities. So I brought professionals together, trained them, orient them, and then we built canopies in the various social spaces. Accra Mall, you see the canopies, and you see all the professionals dressed in their t-shirts. And I prepare a research questionnaire. Just a simple question. Are you happy? How happy? Very happy, unhappy, or very unhappy. So we use it as a research questionnaire. I met a group of people, and then they said, what we are going through is not on the list. then I asked, then I said, so what is your list? He said, very unhappy. Then you see, when we collect all the answers, it gives us an idea of, in the spectrum, the level of people's approach to suicide, dysfunctionality. And in that case, I wasn't looking at people who commit the active suicide, but people who have the suicidal ideation. Because they are more dangerous than people who commit the active suicide. Because those who have the ideation, their behavior, because they are living, but they are dead in the inside. So they have self-suicided. So to them, anything they are doing against you, it doesn't matter. So they will rather now cause you to go and commit the suicide. So I went a bit further and I contacted some of the other colleagues of mine, Professor Osei and other Saris. And then I said, you know what? The suicide has been decriminalized. What is the way forward? So then I brought all the stakeholders to International Conference Center that let's have conversation about the way forward. And so I will still say that it comes back to how active, and like my brother said, why don't we just create something like that? Why don't we just multiply the community outreach like we have started doing. It was so shocking that we met some people and he said, you know what, this is the first time they have heard that some people are sharing tracts, not only to come to their crusade, but they are interested in what is going on within them. And the number of people that we have the opportunity to meet with. Some people, it's just a hug they need. Just a hug they need. That will trigger a lot of hormonal exchanges that will bring their attentions down. Somebody is just a smile that they need. They don't need money. So the awareness will make the little we have, we can share with others. If we know that it is not all about money. My smile can heal somebody. My hug can heal somebody. My encouragement can heal somebody. My facial expression. Look at us here. We are so handsome and beautiful. But we look too serious. As if we are against life. And life is fighting us.
This is the hard truth.
20 years to come, if you look at your facial expression, the multiple thousands of muscles that you are squeezing and forcing in, that is where your wrinkles will start from. So please, when you leave here, just look at yourself in the mirror and wear different kind of smile. And the one that looks beautiful,
ladies have
start
started.
wearing it.
Fantastic. I love that. Great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Ladies and
Great.
gentlemen, please let's appreciate the moderator,
Thank you very much.
the Venerable Neil Datola. Let's also appreciate the Director of Human Resource, Mr. John Kurasari.
Yes.
Let's appreciate Dr. Hobson. And let's appreciate Mr. Eugene. They've been very fantastic. Thank you so very much. Please, you may return to your seats. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
If you look in the packages next to you, Phytotech, our partners, have been very gracious. In that package, you have two different sets of boxes from Phytotech. Each one contains something very good for a man, and I personally recommend it to you. We're going to shortly take a spot of the Himalayan solitude, but before that, let's take 5 minutes of your time. 5 minutes of your time. Invite Dr. Ernest to speak to us briefly, especially about the one in the red box. I call it the red box because there are two boxes. Dr. Ernest, please, 5 minutes. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Sure, by all means.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, MD. We are very privileged to be here once again. The last meeting we had was very successful. We were here and we shared some products, Prostacyclin and Nutromex. The combination is so fantastic. The men, you can testify to it. The Nutromex and then the Prostacyclin, they are all natural products. There is no artificial additives. We extracted all this from plants and leaves, and we scientifically extracted and made this product for you, just for your prostate health and improve circulation. And you cannot, all what we are saying today, I'm happy to be here that this product is going to also manage some of this stress. Because what does it do? When all the stress come together, we have some medical people here. We know what it happens. It causes vasoconstriction. It closes our blood vessels. And blood cannot push through. You know what happens? You cannot perform. You perform with blood. And if there's poor circulation. So when you were linking stress to poor performance, that is the scientific explanation. The vessels are closing up. And you don't have blood flow through the vessels. How do you expect to perform? Poor concentration. There's no blood moving to the brains. You lack oxygen. You lack nutrients. You develop lack of concentration. We make sure we give you this product, natural product. It contains nitrate. And what it does is when you take it, the endothelium of the blood vessels fails to produce these natural products. They are natural things that they are producing oxide, the nitric oxide. They cause vasodilatation. But the blood vessels are not able to do that because of the stress. So this product, NitroMX, will stimulate the endothelium to produce the natural nitric oxide that's supposed to be produced. So it helps to dilate the blood vessels, open up the vessel, relaxes the capacitant vessels so that blood can flow with ease. And when blood flows, it reduces the load on the heart. That is where the pressure comes down. That is where the penis is able to ejaculate. And then you perform with so much happiness. Yes. Yes.
Now my director wants to ask a question.
So today, we are concluding this show with NitroMX. In fact, when you accumulate stress, you overage. Stress can overage you. Looking at your face and you see, no, the age doesn't match your face. It's a stress. And we have other products. Prostacyclin, the one we shared last time, is mounted along the entrance. And you combine it with NitroMX, you are good to go. We have another product, Omega Z. It is an immune booster. Stress reduces the immune system. Mr. Eugene, you were right on that spot. Stress reduces your immune system. That is where you have development of free radicals. That increases the chances of developing cancers and other conditions. And we have developed that Omega Z that builds the immune system, refreshes you, distresses you, and makes you fine. Anti-aging properties. We encourage you to patronize them. The family in uniform. You put on uniform all the time, 24/7. You are wearing your boots. We have Dermaphyte. They are natural products. The heat gives you all kinds of skin conditions. Please, get hold of the Dermaphyte. They are mounted at the entrance. And use it. It's natural. Any form of skin conditions, please, apply them. And you have good solutions to your body. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ernest. We're grateful you could make it. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Dr. Ernest and Dr. Lucia. We're grateful you could make it. For those of us who asked the last time they were here and repeatedly came to the newsroom looking for Alan to make sure you get another round, the table is out there. If you go to a pharmacy, a box is sold for 180 cedis. But while they're here, they're so gracious and generous, it's been knocked down to 100 cedis per box. By all means, take the free one home, but get an extra one. You don't lose anything. And that would help a great deal. So let's now go for our Himalayan solitude. And on that note, once that comes to a close, we will take our chairman's remark and then we'll call it a day. Thank you. All right, thank you very much for that one, in-house DJ. We're very grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all too soon coming to the end of the day's schedule. We'll take our chairman's remark from on here, and then we'll bring you our vote of thanks. Chairman.
Thank you. I believe we have all enjoyed the sessions. It's been very practical, very relatable, something we can all pick from. And I want to thank all the speakers and all those who contributed to this healthy discussion. These are discussions we should be having often, and it shouldn't be sporadic. So I'm happy that there was a call to action, that we institutionalize this. GBC Men, because you have the platform, you can lead this. And then men from other organizations like the security forces, from the diplomatic sector, will all join you and replicate this. It is very important. I work a lot in the space of gender, and the issue of gender came up. And there's a big concern at the ministry currently about boys being left behind. And it is the boys who grow up to us. And if we don't tackle it at the root, when they get to our stage, there will be big trouble, there will be chaos. So the minister is currently encouraging what we are calling, I think Doc mentioned it, positive masculinity. That is an agenda that is on the heart of the minister currently. And I call on all of you to support that agenda, because what is happening in our communities with our boys, it's serious. We in the past, send your girl child to school, send your girl child. We all remember there was a lot of attention on the girls, and the reverse is happening. And we need to be careful how we are proceeding. We've learned a lot today. I'm not going to belabor the point. I pray that whatever we have done here today will be a seed that will germinate. And GBC Men, your name will be written in letters of gold, that you have set up, that you have kickstarted this movement, and it will spread like wildfire. Thank you all for supporting me as your chair, and we wish you all the best in the days ahead. Thank you.
So very much. A round of applause once again for our chairman, our able chairman, Mr. Leonard Goba, who is with the British High Commission. We have come to the end of it today, and we'll invite humbly to bring us a vote of thanks, Mr. Charles Kwame Chakpo. Let men be men. Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me say a big thanks to Almighty God. And somebody was asking of our slogan. It's simply, let men be men. And I'll try as much as possible to make my vote of thanks stress-free. So let me call my Director General today, Amin Dada. You know, sometimes when you call them with a nickname, then, you know, everybody feels at home. And I remember those days in school, you know, the names that we all used to have. Once they mention the name, then you feel at ease, and you know that life must be taken easy. So first of all, a big thanks to God and to all the security agencies. Honestly, I had the opportunity to visit your place with Neodate Lamte to make sure we distribute the invitation letters. And the discipline atmosphere that you have there, the hygienic atmosphere and everything, I really like it so much, honestly. And it was a good opportunity to visit the prisons, the fire service, the army, the air force, the navy, the customs, and the immigration. So a big thanks to you all. And I know that some of you that have represented here will go back and make an impact with it. God bless you so much. Apart from that, I also want to take a big thanks to our own directors, headed by the Director General himself, Professor Amin Alasan. I remember the first time we went to his office, GBC Men, to officially introduce this program to me. he just quickly bought into the idea. And even when we got there, he was totally stressed in the office with a whole lot of documents in front of him. So when I got to the office, the first thing he asked me was, Charles, can you remind me what this meeting is about? And I said, oh, DG, it's about the previous meeting I told you that is a follow-up, GBC Men. We are coming to see you on the stress-free program we want to organize. And he said, okay, I'll be with you. Honestly, he left everything and joined us in the boardroom. So, DG, I must say you are really, really a father. God bless you so much. And I believe that with this, a lot of things will materialize. And we, the men in GBC, will continue to make an impact and change the narrative for men. Please. So we all need your support as well. And to all my colleagues in the team of the GBC Men, including Darrell, including Neodate Lamte, even DG himself is also a member and a patron as well. So we are glad to have you all. And not forgetting my Director of Human Resource, John Kurasari. When I told him he would be on board, he told me, oh, Bodenche. If you understand, guy, you know what I mean. It means he's ever ready to join. He's ever ready to join. And then to all our special speakers here today, starting from the chairman. I know your busy schedule at the British High Commission. But Leo, it was just last minute, 3 days before, when you received it through Prosper, you said you would definitely be here. And you showed up, in spite of all your busy schedules. God bless you. Dr. Hobson, you came here through Neodate, and honestly, when the invitation came to Neodate, told me everything. And I am glad to see you on board. And even when the ladies invited you, you were here as well. That was the first time I heard of you. So I told Neodate, no, we also need you on board. So thank God, you've also joined us. Thank you very much. And then the last speaker, Eugene. Eugene, my comrade, my Chevening alumni from Swansea. Anyway, thank you very much. But I would like us to observe 1 minute silence in honor of Eugene's wife. Just last month, he lost the wife, but still he was able to be here and deliver. So, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Can we observe 1 minute silence in honor of the wife? All right. May her perfect soul rest in peace. Eugene, we are with you. Let us know when the funeral is coming on. Thank you very much. The Lord is, even when I call you, your children were on the background. But I said you are the best person to share this experience with us. It is not easy, so thank you for being here. And the last, but on the list, is my director of television. How can you come out with a program like this without the support of your own director? As soon as we took it forward, she quickly endorsed it. So I thank God we've been able to record it. It will be going on Lifestyle TV, GTV, and all the other channels. GBC News as well. So as soon as it's going, we'll find a way of liaising with you so that you can also watch it. Relax with your wife and your children at home and the entire family so that they know what the men go through. Thank you very much. And it's on the social media platform as well. So we are streaming live today. It's live all over. Globally, it's going everywhere. So thank you all for coming. God bless you so much for the time that you have spent. And I believe this thing will change the narrative for the entire men in our society. And lastly, Phytotype Company, our major sponsor on this program. You will definitely make the men be men with what you've given us today. Some of them took double dose of what you gave them. And the following day, DG, should I say it? Oh, Dr. Hobson, they finished it. And they said, the thing was still on. No? So I think you have to give them the prescribed dosage so that, because some of them, I think they can just take about 6 at the same time. Charlie, people are not, you know. Thank you. That's for real. So thank you very much. Thank you all for coming and making the difference and changing the status quo for the men. God bless you all. Darrell, bless you. Bless you.
right. As I Jamestown, very proud Jamestown, a son of Jamestown. We simply say we and then we all say we rise up and leave. Only so we sit back down again and continue. On this note, when we rise, we have risen. May I invite Mr. Alote to bring us a closing prayer, please, Mr. Alote.
Shall we please be in the mood of prayer? Everlasting Father, we thank you for a moment like this. We called on you at the beginning and you came with us. We pray that you shall guide us through all these programs we have held, that in future we shall say we did it to the glory of your name. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. On that note, Phytotech is still outside. Don't be in a rush to leave. Know somebody and let somebody know you. Till we meet again, let men be men. Thank you.